Welcome back to another exciting episode of Cyber Defense TV. I'm your host, Gary Milewski, and the publisher of Cyber Defense Magazine. Sitting in my hot seat today is a very special guest. Benjamin Fabre is the co-founder and CEO of an amazing cybersecurity company. It's DataDome. You can find him online at datadome.co. Benjamin, welcome to the hot seat today.
Thank you for having me today.
One of the biggest problems is everybody's moved to the internet, right? And more than 50% and growing are working from home. We're always in the cloud. SaaS apps are everywhere. We're trusting and we're building apps, banks, healthcare, you name it. Everything's moving to the cloud. It's a great digital transformation, but it opens the door for cybercrime. Usually they want to steal your credentials and things like that. So what can DataDome do to help protect us?
DataDome is a bot and online fraud prevention solution. So our mission is to protect websites, mobile apps, and API against all automated threats that can run credential stuffing attempt, account takeover, scraping, scalping, DDoS layer 7, etc.
The old days, it was just CAPTCHA, which I believe you offer as a service, but there's much more, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. As you said, the traffic on the internet is going through the roof from legitimate human, but at the same time, we've seen this pattern with the bad bots and all attackers. The volume of bad bots on the internet is around 50%. That means every time there is a request coming on a website, one is coming from a legitimate human, one is coming from a bot. That can be a bad one. And so far, the main solution that have been deployed by websites to be protected against all those automated threats was CAPTCHA. But that's super painful for users. Having dozens of seconds to try to find the red light, the crosswalk, etc., is just terrible in terms of user experience. So what we are doing at DataDome is that we are able to protect websites without asking any user interactions in 99.99% of the time. So we can protect website without having the downside of being painful for users. And in the remaining situations, in the 0.01%, when we have to ask the user an interaction, we want to have it as simple as possible. So that's why we have released our own CAPTCHA technology, super simple for human and very hard for the bad guys.
Is DataDome deployed kind of like a WAF? Is it in front of the e-commerce experience or the sign-on experience? How are you deployed?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So we have dozens of different integrations that are available. We can be deployed at the CDN level. We can be deployed on the load balancer or the application. So every time just a tiny module to be deployed, it requires just a few minutes. And then DataDome AI will be used to protect and block the malicious traffic in real time without any human interaction. And we have a second part of the integration, the client side, where we will collect many signals coming from the browser or the mobile app, how the user is interacting with the page, how the mouse moves, how the user stroke the keyboard, etc., or how the user swipe on the application to make sure that we are really facing a legitimate user and not a bad bot trying to mimic a human.
And every year I hear the numbers get worse. And as we get closer to holidays, the e-commerce sites experience tons of these botnet attacks. Cybercrime keeps getting worse. So it would seem without something like DataDome, the numbers are just going to keep going up.
Yeah, we've seen the number of attacks doubling in just 12 months. And during this period at the end of the year, when there are some Black Friday, or some special sales, we can see that attackers are going even stronger on websites and mobile apps. That's a very specific moment when most of our customers want to make sure they have the maximum level of security to make sure that their resources are only available for humans that will buy, consume, use their website to read articles rather than bots consuming resources, consuming CPU, and also trying to breach their website.
Yeah, these botnets are getting worse and worse. It's very inexpensive to deploy a botnet. And some people don't know they have vulnerable wireless routers in their homes that then become exploited by the cybercrime teams And little do they know, while they're using their home computer, they're browsing, they're watching movies, whatever, that wireless router might be part of a botnet for criminals. And so it's pretty cheap, it's easy, and very widely deployed. It's just a huge challenge that it's great to have a company like DataDome to solve. What about on API security? Can you explain a little more about that?
Yeah, sure. So today, the web itself is moving from old plain HTML websites to be like API first centric, but for having more modern websites with the single page app trend, and also for the mobile applications. And we can see that now bots and attackers are not just trying to reach the plain website, but they are trying to reach APIs, because that's for them a way to have a structured information. It's easier to understand, to reverse engineers, and they can target more specifically the login section, for instance, the account creation or the cart. We've seen so many patterns, and most of our e-commerce websites are seeing every week major attack when they are doing flash sales. For instance, you probably heard about the PS5 topic. When a website have a limited stock available on PS5, then bots will just target and be able to buy them in a matter of seconds. And we are seeing that not only in the PS5 industry, but also for the sneakers or for the luxury goods, where the limited stock made it relevant for bots to just buy all the inventory. So API have to be protected, both the APIs exposed on the website or on the mobile app or for partners. And
so APIs are now part of kind of supply chain management. We have to secure and protect the APIs themselves because they're very powerful and useful, but easily exploitable by these cyber criminals and their tools.
Yeah, exactly. So today we are seeing that attackers are just using the mobile application, just reverse engineer the mobile application to discover the routes and the endpoints used by those mobile application, and then just try reach them directly. So what we are doing at DataDome is that we are detecting if the request is coming from the real mobile application, thanks to our SDK deployed inside the application. Today in 500 million devices, DataDome is deployed. So we are collecting a vast level of signals. It's today trillion of signals every day to train our AI and to prevent all those automated requests. And to double down on your point on the router that could be infected, that's now the reason why the battle is very complex to be managed, just being IP-centric like we could be in the past with a WAF. Today, we are seeing requests coming on our customers' websites or mobile app that at the same time are done by legitimate users from the same IP, and at the same time are coming from bots that are using residential IP addresses as a proxy, for instance, to run their attacks.
Yeah, Benjamin, remember the good old days when browser helper objects were nice little add-ons to the browsers, and then the bad guys started creating spyware and pestware, bad stuff in the browsers? Seems like it's back.
Yeah, exactly. It's back because of poorly secured IoT, for instance, like webcam, like all the router without strong password. We have so many devices that are connected to our home internet that if one gets hacked, then my IP address will be used on a daily basis by attackers to run massive credential stuffing attacks, for instance.
Now, geofencing used to work a long time ago, and as you said, you're getting what appear to be legitimate requests, but these are compromised trusted users or computers or devices, and this is a problem, but you've been able to solve it with AI and machine learning. So you're building large data lakes and gathering information or intel that help you determine that this behavior really is fraudulent.
Yeah, exactly. So the challenge in our field is to first collect a vast level of signals. So from the user side, how the user interacts with the page, swipe on the app, what browser he's using. On the network level, also the IP address, the IP owner, the TLS fingerprint. So as many signals as we can collect. So that's the first challenge. The second one is it's cool to have a lot of signals. Then you want to be able to collect them and to treat them in real time to take decision on every single request. So you have to be able to do machine learning at the edge within 2 milliseconds to be able to protect the customer. You don't want to tell to your customer, you had an attack last month, right? You want to tell, there is an attack happening right now, and we've been able to block it without any human interaction. That's the challenge, because today attacks and threats are evolving so fast that you cannot just wait for a data scientist at the end of the month to review a large volume of data. You have to be able to do machine learning at the edge.
And at the edge in real time means you have to be very scalable. I assume you guys have developed an amazing system at DataDome to scale to even some of the biggest vendors who need you.
Exactly. So today we have 25 points of presence where our machine learning is deployed using the largest cloud provider. And we have worked a lot, and we have published many articles around that, on the scaling capacity, how we can make sure that we can scale in a few seconds, multiplying by 500 our compute capacity at the edge by leveraging the cloud provider capacity. And sometimes we had to redevelop some internal functionalities to scale faster than the cloud provider can provide.
How long does it take for DataDome to be deployed in a typical, say, mid-market to large enterprise deployment?
So it's starting from a few minutes. We have integrations available on some marketplace like CloudFront, for instance, Cloudflare or Fastly. So that's almost just a click, and sometimes a few hours for deployment inside load balancers or application that will require some very light work from the DevOps team. And then as soon as the server-side integration is deployed, then you get access to DataDome Dashboard, where you will see in real time all the threats that your websites and your mobile apps and APIs are facing, and how DataDome can block them in real time. We have a 30-day free trial, so anyone can test the solution and see by their own how it's working.
I was going to ask you about that. And on your website at datadome.co, you have a really beautiful looking dashboard you guys have developed.
Yeah, we have invested a lot. So today, we are working with CISO, tech, DevOps, CTOs. And now they want to have a high level standard in terms of UX. It's not because it's cybersecurity that it has to be poor UX. So we have invested a lot also on the dashboard to make sure it's super simple to use, nice to use on a daily basis, but also very powerful. So today, our customers, they are using our dashboard to do forensic analysis, to understand exactly what every single IP is doing, and to deep dive from the high-level KPIs to every single request with a powerful query language.
That's wonderful. And I assume most of the clients are e-commerce and banking and huge SaaS providers who've moved their operations or opportunities for us to use their services to the cloud.
Yeah, exactly. We are working with some of the largest e-commerce websites, with medias, classifieds, a SaaS solution, insurance, bank, and literally any service that is public facing, with login section, with payment fraud, with fake account creation. I mean, literally any public websites or mobile app need to be protected today against automated threats.
Is there anyone who can't afford you? Because, SMBs account for about 80% of GDP, and most of them are moving online like the big players too. Yeah,
so today we have large customers and we have mid-market customers. Our pricing plan starts at $20,000 a year. So it's in a month because behind the product, you have the best product using DataDome, but you also have a SOC team working around the clock to protect our customers against all threats they can face. So that's what they deserve today.
It's well priced. It sounds fantastic. Okay, and well, last question. How about channel partners? Do you sell direct? Do you sell through MSSPs or MSPs? Just curious where DataDome can be deployed. Is it global?
Yeah, so we have a public website where anyone can start a free trial, but we are also available through cloud marketplace like AWS, like Fastly, like Cloudflare or GCP. And we have some MSSP that we are working with that could be also a channel if anyone wants to try DataDome through their current partnerships.
Benjamin, you are the CEO and co-founder of an amazing company, DataDome.co. taking away a lot of pain for folks who really deserve it. I mean, the cyber crime is up tremendously this year. And I think without DataDome, a lot of public facing sites are in a lot of trouble. So having you clean up and protect against the fraud, the online account takeover, all these issues is just a wonderful solution.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we got to send our viewers and listeners. You said there is a online trial available?
Yeah. So we have a 30 days free trial,
30-day trial. Folks, take advantage of this now before the big holiday season or the big traffic season hits, because the cyber criminals are not sleeping right now. They're preparing and working on the next level of their botnets and their attacks. So go to datadome.co and then come back next time for another exciting episode of Cyber Defense TV.
Cyber Defense TV and Cyber Defense Radio have launched 24/7 by 365 live streams. Visit them online today at cyberdefense.tv and cyberdefense.radio with your host and globally recognized cybersecurity expert and my good friend, Gary Milewski.